What's up, family? A black man wrongly convicted of raping a white woman who spent nearly 30 years behind bars is now a free man. Whoo-wee, man. 28 years that man was behind bars for a crime he did not commit. Family. This is one of the greatest miscarriages of justice the world has ever seen. Check out the story, fam. It goes as follows. Clarence Moses L. received a 48-year prison sentence for the 1987 assault and rape of a woman in the Denver, Colorado area of 5 Points. Although the victim, identified by the initials TS, did not initially name Moses L. as a suspect, she told the police he was her assailant after, get this fam, dreaming about the attack. Clarence Moses L. was incarcerated for 28 years despite several flaws in his case, including the Denver Police Department's destruction of evidence before DNA testing could occur. After a jury acquitted Clarence at a second trial in 2016, he sued various government officers, including the former district attorney of Denver, for violating his rights with their erroneous prosecution. But after a lower court determined none of the defendants had violated Clarence's constitutional rights and dismissed his case, a 3-judge panel for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit reached the same conclusion. Moses L. has not plausibly alleged any constitutional claim that Denver fabricated, destroyed, or systematically mishandled evidence, that he was maliciously prosecuted, or that Denver was ever aware its labs and testing procedures were deficient in Moses L.'s case, wrote Judge Gregory A. Phillips. T.S. told police and her sister the names of various men who had been at the party as possible suspects, none of whom were Clarence. Later, while in the hospital and medicated, T.S. relived the attack in her dream and identified Clarence Moses L. as the man who assaulted her. Detective James Huff, now deceased, reportedly had doubts about the claim, but law enforcement continued with a focus on Clarence. Catherine Brown Dressel, a forensic serologist, conducted blood tests from the swabs taken of T.S. She determined that no man, including Moses L., could be excluded as a suspect. A jury convicted Clarence in 1988. 4 years later, Clarence asserted his lawyer had been ineffective for failing to conduct DNA testing. After a favorable ruling in the Colorado Court of Appeals, Clarence raised $1,000 from his fellow inmates to perform the DNA test. The Denver Police Department sealed the forensic samples in Clarence's case and wrote on the box in all caps, "Do not destroy." However, Huff, a veteran, the lead detective on the case, a trusted professional who allegedly was not told the significance of the evidence, authorized the materials for destruction before DNA testing could take place. Y'all believe that? I don't. Anyway, fam, a break came in Clarence's case in 2012 when L.C. Jackson, a man convicted of other sex crimes, whom T.S. initially named as a possible suspect, indicated to Clarence's attorneys that he was the man who attacked T.S. The new evidence triggered further proceedings in the courts, and this culminated into a new trial, which ultimately proved Clarence's innocence, and he was subsequently acquitted. Boy, a black man got to go through hell to get some justice around this raggedy mother. Man, damn. 28 years for a crime you did not commit. And I'm not talking about just any crime. I'm talking about one of the worst crimes a person can be charged with. And then have to live in prison with that type of jacket on your back. Oh man, that ain't cool. That ain't cool at all. And to add insult to injury, man, to add insult to injury. The woman is still claiming that Clarence is the guy who attacked her. Boy, that denial and hate is a mother. You gotta be one wicked heifer to still be standing on something like that with all of that evidence, with all of that proof of innocence. Now, this guy who came forward, he was doing time already. And I guess his conscience got the best of him. And he couldn't take it no more. With 28 years, he don't get no credit. He don't get no, even at 28 years, he don't get no credit for that. It is what it is, fam. It's a good thing that he came forward. But 28 years, the man was damn near done with the time, man. They gave him 48 years total. So he was almost done with that time. 28 years for a crime he did not commit. So in the state of Colorado, they have a law, whereas if you're wrongly convicted, you get $70,000 a year. So that total for him, that was a grand total of $1.9 million. And, you know, I mean, really, when after taxes, might get a meal out of it. Nah, fam, no. And you know what? There is no amount of money. I understand you have to be compensated monetarily, but there is no amount of money that somebody could pay me to lose that kind of time. Do you know how much this man lost? I mean, don't know if he had family prior to that, but even if he didn't, you know, they robbed him of that possibility. What about his parents? What about his grandparents? You know, what about the funerals of people that were in his family, his loved ones? What about all of the milestones that he missed in other people's lives, besides his own life, all of his milestones he was robbed of? He had to experience those milestones in a cage with a bunch of dudes, many of them who are real hard criminals. That's cold-blooded, man. And for nobody, I mean, you mean nobody go to jail for that? You got a big ass box that say "do not destroy" written on it, and you destroy it anyway? You throw it in the trash anyway. Like nobody had the person say, "You sure? You sure?" Like, where's the "you sure" in this? Where's the person that's supposed to come forward and say, "Well, I asked him, was he sure?" Where's that person? This happens every day, all across this country. You got criminals locking people up, planting evidence, omitting evidence. People are doing time all over this country. This is just one case. And we've seen at least 1,000 of them like this one case. So you know, if for every one that slipped through the cracks and finally get justice, you already know there's probably thousands that'll never see daylight. That's cold, man. This is a cold-blooded system, man. Now, so I'm gonna tell you something, man. You better get you some money. You better get you some money, because if something like this does happen to you, at least you have the resources to fight back. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.